Chapter 2151. Refining Gu in Exchange for Famous Mountains. Southern border. Wu E Mountain, Wu clan's headquarters. In a hall. Xian Hong had a faint smile as he greeted politely. Xian Hong pays respects to Wu clan's first supreme elder. Wu Yong sat and smiled. Esteemed envoy, no need to be so polite. Xian Hong spoke openly and straightforwardly. I came here with Fan Wind Gu. It has already been refined and raised successfully. Please do examine it now. Wu Yong could not help but feel surprised. So quickly? Does Fang Yuan have a method to refine fake immortal Gu? Is he here to scam me? He received it and checked thoroughly. There were no flaws at all. It is a genuine rank 8 immortal Gu. But how can Fang Yuan refine a rank 8 immortal Gu in such a short period of time? Thinking of this, Wu Yong was uncertain again in his mind. Fang Yuan's main traits were craftiness, viciousness, shamelessness, unscrupulous, and ruthlessness. This number one demon in the world could not be assessed using common sense. Envoy, please hold on. Our Wu clan Gu immortal will come and check it. Wu Yong answered. Wu clan had their own refinement path Gu refinements, but they were not strong. Wu clan was not specialized in refinement path. They were best at wind path. Not only in southern border, even in the 5 regions, Wu clan was first-rate in wind path. After a few minutes, Wu Yong received information that rank 8 Fan Wind Gu was the real thing. It could not be fake. Wu Yong had a complex emotion. Immortal Gu were unique. Because rank 8 immortal Gu were too hard to refine, they had an extremely important significance. Ordinary rank 8 Gu immortals did not even have one rank 8 immortal Gu. For example, old ancestor Shui, who lost everything that he had worked to accumulate for many years on snowy mountain-blessed land after trying to refine fortune rivaling heaven immortal Gu. Of course, this was because his ambitions clashed with heavenly courts and longevity heaven's benefits. Even though the world has been changing in the last few years, with the movement of earth veins and rampaging of chi tides, a vast amount of immortal materials surfaced, it will likely cause a large increase in rank 8 immortal Gu. But for ordinary rank 8 Gu immortals, especially the lone immortals, they will still face problems getting one rank 8 immortal Gu. To think that my Wu clan has gained a new rank 8 immortal Gu. Wu Yong was happy but also gained increasing wariness regarding Fang Yuan. Even though I know that Fang Yuan had annexed Langya sect, it is still hard to believe that his refinement path ability has become so incredible. It feels like he had an easy time refining a rank 8 Fan Wind Gu with no problems encountered at all. On the other hand, Xian Hong added, since you have checked it, which 2 immortal Gu does your clan want to refine next? I can bring them both back next time. Wu Yong became hesitant. Should he pass the 7-faced Prestige Wind Gu to Xian Hong? If he could refine 8-faced Prestige Wind Gu, Wu Yong would gain a huge boost in strength. But precisely so, 7-faced Prestige Wind Gu was extremely important if he gave it to Fang Yuan and the latter snatched it. What would he do? Come to think of it, there are many options. At this moment, Wu Yong felt that 3 chances were too few. He would want nothing more than to raise all of Wu clan's immortal Gu to rank 8. To think that you acted so quickly, I am quite spoiled for choice at the moment. I need to think about it carefully. Envoy, why don't you stay here and give me 3 days to consider? Wu Yong asked. Wu Bachong heard this and added, urging Xian Hong. Speaking of which, this is the 3rd time you've come to Wu clan. Let us host you and bring you around. All right. Xian Hong smiled lightly. I do like Wu clan style a lot. I'll trouble you with my stay. As for First Supreme Elder's considerations, I understand. In fact, I have been tasked with another mission. I wonder if your clan would like to undergo another transaction with us. What transaction? Wu Yong became alert. He thought of the secluded domain of heaven and earth who land. It was akin to a quasi-rank 9 immortal Gu, but Fang Yuan forcefully bought it. Thinking of this, Wu Yong felt a slight heartache again. Xian Hong explained the details, while Wu Yong fell into contemplation. Wu Bachong shouted in shock. What? Fang Yuan wants to dig away our Wu clan's famous mountains. In return, he will refine rank 8 immortal Gu for our Wu clan. Precisely. Xian Hong nodded. Wu Bachong snickered. How can that be? Any famous mountain is a large resource point at least. Most of them are giant resource points. A select few are super resource points. They can produce rank 8 immortal materials. Even though you can refine rank 8 immortal goo, you are still using our immortal goo as the foundation to raise their rank. You are not giving us additional immortal goo. Furthermore, immortal goo are hard to feed. Rank 8 immortal goo are too. Even if they are refined, they will expend our resources. Yet, famous mountains are able to produce resources continuously. They will almost never dry out. You want to take our famous mountains. You are trying to cripple our foundation. What intentions do you have? What schemes are you up to? Towards the end, Wu Ba-chong was basically screaming in anger, but Ko-Xian Hong was prepared for this. He spoke calmly. Not so. Not so at all. Elder Wu Ba-chong, you are too pessimistic about this. Think about it carefully. Your clan has just gotten many goo immortal seeds to undergo immortal ascension recently, but you only gained 6 new immortals, with most of them being external members. Even with more goo immortals, Wu clan's territory is too big. You cannot defend it. Since that is the case, you might as well sell some territories. In that case, not only would Wu clan have higher ranked immortal goo, you will even have sufficient manpower. Furthermore, Ko-Xian Hong continued, immortal goo are unique. I am sure Elder Wu Ba-chong knows how priceless rank 8 immortal goo are. Immortal materials can be sold and bought, but can immortal goo be easily bought? They are unique. They can only be traded. Even if Treasure Yellow Heaven is the #1 market in the world, let me ask you, how many immortal goo have been traded in it over these years? The 5 regions are now one. The 5 regions' chaotic war cannot be avoided. Goo immortal battle strength is the most important thing. You can only consider the rest after having sufficient strength to defend yourself. A rank 8 immortal goo can cause your clan's strength to rise sharply. Not only can you protect yourself, you can invade others and gain a huge amount of wealth in war. This, Wu Ba-chong hesitated. Ko-Xian Hong looked at Wu Ba-chong. He cast a secretive glance at Wu Yong without showing any signs, continuing to convince them. Human Smoke Mountain is Chai Clan's headquarters. They sold it to us recently. What? There is such a thing. Wu Ba-chong was stunned. Ko-Xian Hong did not elaborate further. He took a step back. If Wu clan does not want this trade, we will not force you. This time, other than bringing back immortal goo for refinement, I also need to find other clans and undergo this trade with them. Wu Ba-chong's expression changed mildly. If Wu clan did not deal with Fang Yuan, but the other clans did, their battle strength would surge instead. Even if they give up on resources now and lose future potential, what if they decide to expand through invasion? By then, if Wu clan refuses to work with Fang Yuan, their battle strength would be surpassed by other clans. By then, Wu clan would fall from their throne of the #1 southern border force. They would be bullied by others. Wu Yong tapped on the table with his finger as he fell into deep thought. Fang Yuan is so domineering even when doing business. He gives others no way of rejecting. However, even though Ko-Xian Hong is trying to convince us, he is not wrong about it. This trade is sensible, but we need to control the extent of our dealing. At almost the same time, in Luck Suppression Heavenly Palace, Gan-in-I pays respects to Master. Earth Extremity of the 8 Extremities knelt before Immortal Zombie Giant Sunday. Earth Extremity Gan-in-I was a female immortal. She cultivated Earth Path and Refinement Path. Her Refinement Path attainment was quite deep at this moment. She held 4 rank 8 immortal goo and handed them over respectfully. Immortal Zombie Giant Sun inspected them for some time and felt pleased. Gan-in-I, you are our Longevity Heaven's Refinement Path expert indeed. Since the Fate War until now, you received my orders and refined 4 rank 8 immortal goo. You have made a huge contribution. Gan-in-I quickly answered. It was all thanks to Master's luck path methods. Otherwise, with just my mere talent, we could not have refined so many rank 8 immortal goo in these few years. But because of that, Longevity Heaven's luck fell greatly. Immortal Zombie Giant Sun interrupted her as he waved his hand. In this world, there are losses where there are gains. To refine these immortal goo, luck expenditure was a necessary investment. Immortal Zombie Giant Sun took one of these 4 immortal goo and observed it carefully in front of him. This goo had a peculiar shape. It was cubic and resembled a wooden box. This was imitation goo. It was 8th place on the list of mystical goo. originating from thieving heaven demon venerable. If one placed this goo with any immortal goo in the world together for some time, the goo cultivator could activate imitation goo to turn itself into that immortal goo. Immortal goo were unique, but imitation goo could bypass this logic to some extent. However, the imitated goo could not compare to the real one in power. Back then, Giant Sun Immortal Venerable asked Heavenly Court for human chi, immortal goo, and failed. Giant Sun Immortal Venerable took another path, refining imitation goo and turning it into human chi, immortal goo. Next, with this human chi immortal goo as the core, he established 88 true yang building. Other than this imitation goo, the other 3 rank 8 immortal goo were all blood path immortal goo. Divine Emperor City. Light flickered. The 10 children of human path came out of the painting world, returning to the real world. We are finally back. It is a pity that we did not manage to take down those 2 new paintings. We were nurtured by Heavenly Court, but the time is up. We needed to leave. What are you worried about? Even though we did not take it down entirely, the situation has been set. There are so many beast tamers in the painting world, even cultivators have appeared. Moreover, with the deep foundation that we created, there is no chance of failure. That's true. After the 10 children of human path conversed for some time, their sects goo immortals arrived to bring them back. Qin Ding Ling and the rest concealed their traces, watching the scene unfold before them. These 10 people are the human path immortal seeds of our heavenly court. Regardless of the results from this crazed demon cave expedition, we need to nurture these people, invest fully in them. Qin Dingling announced. Yes, madam. The goo immortal in charge listened to Qin Dingling's words and engraved it in his mind. Let's go. Qin Dingling turned around and said to Genesis Lotus Will. Genesis Lotus Will nodded to the next moment. Divine Emperor City moved. The huge city flew up again, heading straight from Central Continent with unparalleled momentum. The target was Crazed Demon Cave. Chapter 2152. Earth Veins Initial Formation. Chapter 2152. Earth Veins Initial Formation. Inside the sovereign immortal aperture, several variant human men gathered into a circle. They were busily engaging in an important business. Slowly. Guys, relax a little. Don't be so anxious. Faster. I can't endure it anymore. Bam! A loud sound was heard that a gigantic hill landed on the ground. This hill was not tall. It did not have clear waters of beautiful vegetation. There were mostly dust rocks and iron-cloud stones on the mountain, causing it to look gray in most areas. And most amazingly, this entire hill was completely silent. Even though there were many life forms, when Goo Immortals spoke here, no sound could be transmitted unless they used specific methods. This was Silent Hill. The IT had the same reputation as Western Desert's anti-sound desert, famous in the world. Any sound path killer move used here would be greatly weakened and suppressed. Silent Hill was a famous mountain in southern border, but because it produced little resources, it had not been very useful to anyone. This time, Fang Yuan sent envoys all over the place to negotiate in transactions. Silent Hill was sold to Fang Yuan as a result. These variant human goo immortals moved in groups. They were in charge of moving Silent Hill back into a specific location of the sovereign immortal aperture. But relocation was just the first step. Next, they had to develop its mountain roots. The one in charge of this was a Rockman goo immortal. He activated a method as Silent Hill's mountain roots began to grow rapidly, stabbing into the surrounding environment. Deeper, go deeper. The leader instructed as he suddenly sighed. Sigh, why did you stop? Are you finished so quickly? The Rockman goo immortal said impatiently. Say, leader, can you keep quiet? I want to go deeper too, but I only have rank 7 cultivation level. This is a famous mountain. It is very exhausting to influence and manipulate its mountain roots. But the leader said, that's why I said you need to work harder. Your cultivation level is too low. When will you become a rank 8? The Rockman goo immortal rolled his eyes. Boss, I was still rank 6 some time ago. I only went to pass the tribulation and reached rank 7 because of our master. I also want to reach rank 8, but that is just too difficult. The other goo immortals quickly spoke. Leader is right. In our group, you're the only one that can deal with the mountain roots, allowing them to grow thick and long. If you were stronger, we would complete our mission to a greater extent. we would receive better rewards as well. You are in charge of the mountain veins. Your contribution is the highest among us. I heard that you went to sleep recently. I have not slept in 2 months. I have been doing mountain relocation missions the entire time. Master has such grand ambitions and inspirations. He is managing a project to create artificial earth veins. But this plan will eventually be completed. Aren't we grabbing onto this chance when it is available to us? Look at the other groups. The more missions they complete, the fewer we will have for ourselves. The other Gu immortals stared at the Rockman Gu immortal. They had a look of expectation and disappointment. The Rockman Gu immortal was very helpless. Don't you guys know? We Rockmen have no lack of sleep in our lives. Because our bodies are too heavy, it is a huge burden on our soul. We need to sleep to pacify our soul. Then use the liver life formation. I already used it. On Master's contribution board, aren't there soul path methods to raise your soul foundation? But I cultivate earth path. Soul path methods are less effective on me. Instead of using my contribution points on them, I might as well raise my earth path attainment instead. The leader gritted his teeth. Stop arguing. Let's pool our funds and help our little Rockman brother. Let's gather some points and raise his soul foundation. The other Gu immortals agreed together. Right now, the Rockman Gu immortal was their group's weakness. If he got stronger, the entire group would benefit from it. Fang Yuan handed out all sorts of missions. They were created after wisdom path deductions. Their contents were simple, but they had deep meaning, be it the difficulty of the mission or the content itself. Gu immortals often had to cooperate with others. It was hard to do any mission alone. This gave the Gu immortals of various races a chance to work together intimately. After a long period of cooperation, they naturally developed camaraderie and friendship. Thus, within the entire sovereign immortal aperture, all the different tribes and races were seamlessly fusing together into one big community. Humans, rockmen, feathermen, inkmen, snowmen, and others, they were all working together, contributing blood and sweat for the sake of building their wonderful homeland. Excellent. Silent Hill has been relocated already. All the famous mountains are distributed around the mini 5 regions. The most basic requirement has been met. We can now start developing the earth vein. Fang Yuan had been paying huge attention to the famous mountain relocation plan. After seeing the situation over at Silent Hill, he started to take action personally in order to construct the earth vein. He had already created many immortal formations in the important areas of the mini 5 regions at this moment. Fang Yuan willed as immortal essence was expended. The immortal formations started to activate on their own. The ground of the mini 5 regions was shaking with greater intensity as time passed. The variant humans living in the various areas were lost and confused, while some showed expressions of joy. What is happening? Is there another earthquake? Most of the mortal Gu masters did not understand the situation. Master has started to take action. Oh heavens, he is affecting the entire mini 5 regions in one go. This is truly a huge project. The Gu immortals sensed the situation. They all felt intense joy and also deeper admiration towards Fang Yuan. Rumble. The ground continued to rumble, but the extent was not too severe. There was not much loss from this. An earth vein started to form in a chain due to the effect of the Gu formations in various areas, using the famous mountains as its various nodes. This earth vein crossed through the mini 5 regions. It was present in many eastern sea, many central continent, many northern plains, many southern border, and many western desert. If one looked from above, this earth vein would resemble an irregular geometric shape. The lines were very clear and simple. It barely covered the area of half the mini 5 regions. The earth vein was successfully constructed. The ground returned to normal. The immortal formations of various places came to a halt. They were basically fueled by immortal materials that were almost completely expended. The formations were now incomplete and could not be used again. Fang Yuan started to carefully assess the outcome that he was very patient and thorough. After some time, he nodded in satisfaction that it had gone according to plan. The entire earth vein was created perfectly. No flaws could be observed. Of course, this had to do with the simple design of the artificial earth vein. It was simply too crude. The truth was, the hardest part of the artificial earth vein project was not the creation of the earth vein. The problem was the way to gather enough famous mountains to use as the nodes of the various regions' earth vein. The second hardest thing was the method to create an artificial earth vein. The earth vein is completed in its initial state. It is quite crude now and does not have an immediate impact on the entire sovereign immortal aperture. In fact, it might even cause problems to occur frequently during this initial period. But after some time, when things go back to normal, the sovereign immortal aperture will become more stable than before. Fang Yuan estimated in his mind. He withdrew his attention from the sovereign immortal aperture and used cooking luck pot to inspect his luck again. With one glance, Fang Yuan's eyes shined. Joy was expressed in his gaze. The creation of his artificial earth vein had a huge effect on his luck. His luck was originally a grand pillar of silver light, but it was quite loose like cloud soil. It could scatter with one touch. Now, even though the silver pillar was smaller, it became more condensed. This was quite an assuring development. But the luck of the other venerables has also grown stronger. Fang Yuan frowned to himself at the top of the silver light pillar. 3 clouds were looming over it. They represented star constellation immortal venerable, giant sun immortal venerable, and spectral soul demon venerable. Star constellation's cloud was still in control of the first level. It had expanded slightly. Spectral soul was at the second level, while giant sun immortal venerable was at the third. But there was an odd scene now. Star constellation's cloud seemed to be devouring spectral soul's cloud. This scene was quite confusing to Fang Yuan. He had many guesses in his mind, but he was not certain about anything. There was also another transformation at the bottom of the silver light pillar. Yellow-brown dust started to spin around it again. This earthy dust moved around the silver light pillar, seemingly stabilizing it. Through luck inspection, Fang Yuan confirmed that the artificial earth vein plan was very useful to himself. He became even more resolved to continue this plan. But after getting an earth vein, I can no longer use myriad beings' assimilation transformation. Fang Yuan reminded himself. Myriad beings' assimilation transformation killer move was the ultimate method of beast calamity immortal. It contained the highest profundity of transformation path, able to turn down marks of all other paths into transformation path down marks. It could even influence heaven path down marks. Thus, all sorts of tribulations could turn into beast calamities. Fang Yuan's main body could not use it anymore. This move that transformed down marks had a huge effect on the sovereign immortal aperture's habitat. Fang Yuan had a terrifying number of down marks now. Ignoring anything else, just refinement path down marks alone amounted to over 6 million. If these 6 million down marks suddenly turned into another path's down marks, the sovereign immortal aperture would not be able to adapt to the changed BY then. A huge issue would occur in the environment. The terrifying tribulation that occurs would have unimaginable consequences. For example, it was like a fish swimming in water, but the water turned into lava. It was easy to guess the outcome of the fish.I in the past. When Fang Yuan used myriad beings' assimilation transformation, the sovereign immortal aperture's development was still quite low. There were very few life forms inside. At that time, he also had far fewer down marks. If he used myriad beings' assimilation transformation now, there would be too many down marks transformed. It could not be done. But if he transformed fewer down marks instead, against venerables, it would not have any purpose in combat. Immortal killer move. Heaven and earth travel. At the next moment, Fang Yuan's main body went from eastern sea to southern border. A tall mountain peered into the clouds. Frost energy emanated from it. Its mountain roots were cut already. Fang Yuan was here to retrieve it after the preparations were done. This was Frosty Peak. Back then, Fang Yuan disguised as Wu Yihai and sneaked into Wu clan. He had gotten into conflict with Xia clan over this mountain. Frosty Peak was a famous mountain, of course. It produced ice and snowpath resources. However, the originally white and beautiful Frosty Peak was now littered with holes all over as a result of excessive excavation. Not only was it ugly, the production of resources was also affected. Thus, this Frosty Peak was sold to Fang Yuan by Wu clan at this moment. There were many Gu immortals surrounding Frosty Peak, other than the variant human Gu immortals that Fang Yuan dispatched. Wu clan's Gu immortals were here as well. Wu Yong was among them. Fang Yuan, have you been well? Wu Yong took the initiative to greet him, showing a complex expression at the same time. Chapter 2153, Lord Fang Yuan. Time to get going. Wu Yong wanted to meet Fang Yuan personally. If the pursuit of Fang Yuan had just ended, Wu Yong would not dare to get close to him at all. Fang Yuan was the #1 demon in the world. Wu Yong would not dare to approach him. There was a threat of getting killed that it was too dangerous. But now was different. Fang Yuan had an entire series of methods for foreign affairs. He engaged in transactions with many major forces without using brute strength. The initial effect might be small, but after so long, super forces like Wu Clan, Fang Clan, and Chai Clan could see that Fang Yuan was someone who could work with principles and rules. After these super forces reassessed Fang Yuan, they decided to work with him. It was not easy to reach this stage. Would a rabbit have the guts to make transactions with a wolf? But this man in front of me achieved this feat. Wu Yong looked at Fang Yuan while feeling complicated internally that Wu Yong was a current generation hero. His talent and aptitude were top rate even among rank 8 Gu immortals. Seeing Fang Yuan's actions these days, even Wu Yong sighed to himself as he developed feelings of admiration. Having strength but not abusing it or bullying the weak casually. This was not something easy to achieve. On the surface, this seemed like the demeanor of someone with self-control and an understanding that one could not abuse their advantage or they would eventually falter. But the truth was, he was unaffected by greed or ambition. His logic had always suppressed other emotions that in the current world. No. Throughout time, throughout the history of mankind, how many people could reach this stage? Fang Yuan could even make these weaker forces undergo transactions with him without worries. Initially, there was only Wu Clan, but Wu Yong soon found that almost all super forces were transacting with him. They sold some useless famous mountains in exchange for the chance to refine rank 8 immortal Gu. This was not easy. It showed that Fang Yuan had incredible interpersonal skills, be it through threatening or temptation. Even if he used other methods, the result was that he succeeded. Fang Yuan is truly an incredible person. Even though he started from the demonic path, his mannerism and mindset has never been restrained by shallow ideas like factions. He can be righteous or demonic. He can either help the world or cause chaos in the world. Everything depends on the methods he adopts. Even throughout history, such a demon is truly the most terrifying. Being born in the same generation as this person is also my blessing. Wu Yong was wary of Fang Yuan. He had felt disappointment and rage because of Fang Yuan, but he had also gained morale and inspiration. He even saw the beauty of life because of Fang Yuan. Because from Fang Yuan, he saw himself. It was a testament to his own ideals. He had too many similarities with Fang Yuan. Fang Yuan's series of actions during this period allowed Wu Yong to see Fang Yuan's vision. He knew that Fang Yuan was someone who saw 10 steps ahead of each action. Since everyone's opinions and actions have changed because of Fang Yuan, why can't I try to cooperate even more deeply with him? After losing Hu Land, Wu Yong developed this thought. What to do with an enemy you could not beat? The best way was to cooperate with them, to turn from enemies to allies. Cooperating with Fang Yuan had huge potential for gains. It was very helpful to Wu Clan that Wu Yong was someone with high restraint, but he also had the honor of the righteous path. Except that the honor of an ambitionist like him was worth less than a piece of paper. As long as the benefits were high enough, Wu Yong could tear this paper into pieces with no second thought. Thus, Wu Yong took the initiative to come and meet with Fang Yuan personally. He wanted to talk and try to see if he could deepen their cooperation. Seeing Wu Yong, Fang Yuan also revealed a faint smile that Wu Yong had once chased after his life. But so what? If you can kill me, that is testament to your strength. This is a world where the strongest survive. If I die because of you, that is because I am weak. It is my own lack of capability. It is my fault. The weak were devoured by the strong. Was this not a natural thing? Thus, in Fang Yuan's heart, he had never felt any pointless hatred or grudge. Wu Yong came here of his own accord. His intention to cooperate was obvious. Then let's cooperate. For Fang Yuan, working with Wu Clan had benefits and gains too. Wu Yong was the leader of the Southern Alliance, while Wu Clan was the #1 superforce in Southern Border. They would become a role model for other forces if they chose to cooperate, like how Fang Yuan traded with other forces for famous mountains. He had used Wu Clan's transaction records to tempt them. But just when Fang Yuan was about to talk with Wu Yong, a Gu immortal flew over in the sky. This Gu immortal was dressed in a gray hemp garment and conical hat. He had a muscular body and a chin that was wide and thick. It was Lu Weiyin that he had always been calm and composed, but now he showed an anxious expression. Lu Weiyin saw Fang Yuan and shouted from afar, "Lord Fang Yuan, I finally found you. What's the matter?" Fang Yuan smiled. Lu Weiyin flew towards Fang Yuan, casting a glance at Wu Yong, but not greeting him. Wu Yong became quite curious. He had never seen Lu Weiyin in such a frantic state. Lu Weiyin spoke directly in front of Fang Yuan. "Lord Fang Yuan, do you know that yesterday, Divine Emperor City brought heavenly court's immortals from Central Continent straight towards Northern Plains' crazed demon cave?" "Oh." Fang Yuan's expression moved slightly. Lu Weiyin continued. "Star constellation Immortal Venerable has likely revived. If she joins up with Heavenly Court, they will be able to work together. Crazed demon cave situation will be very dangerous. There is no time. We need to head there immediately and take control of the situation." "What?" Wu Yong heard this and felt incredibly shocked. What in the world was going on? Why were Heavenly Court and Crazed Demon Cave involved in something? Wu Yong was very perceptive. He immediately realized that this was an incredibly important fight. Regardless of the result, it would definitely affect the entire Gu immortal world, as well as the 5 regions and 2 heavens. But Fang Yuan was not anxious. He consoled Lu Weiyin. "Your information network is really broad. But don't worry, don't be anxious. I still have matters to settle." Saying this, Fang Yuan used a method to put Frosty Peak into the sovereign immortal aperture. "How can I not be anxious?" Lu Weiyin took off his hat as he stared with wide eyes, urging, "We are going against Heavenly Court and Longevity Heaven. The location is also Limitless Demon Venerable's Crazed Demon Cave, as well as that secluded domain of Heaven and Earth, Primordial Domain. Lord Fang Yuan, we cannot lose our initiative in this fight." "What? What? Heavenly Court, Longevity Heaven, Limitless Demon Venerable, and Primordial Domain? The secluded domain of Heaven and Earth recorded in The Legends of Renzu?" Wu Yong had more and more questions in his mind. He felt more anxious as well that he wanted to know everything. Fang Yuan had a solemn expression. "I know that you want to make contributions. I've already promised you. If Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable wants to revive, I will help you. But I have my own judgment towards the situation. If I do not use my time to strengthen myself, how can I go up against the Venerables? There is no need to rush me any further." This, Lu Weiyin pondered without speaking further. Fang Yuan turned to Wu Yong as he smiled again. "Wu Yong, regarding the sale of famous mountains, I think we can expand the scale of transactions. For example, Moon Bowl, Corpse Mountain, Phoenix Peak, or Corpse Emperor Yuding Tian, and others." Wu Yong showed a difficult expression. "These famous mountains have higher value than Frosty Peak. The true value of Phoenix Peak is that phoenixes will gather every year to lay eggs. If you take the mountain, it might not have great value anymore. As for Corpse Emperor Yuding Tian or Corpse Mountain, they are things that Wu clan needs. Not long ago, we obtained the enslavement path, true inheritance of the Corpse Emperor. We are trying to develop and use it. These 2 mountains are not for sale. As for Moon Bowl, as long as the price is reasonable, we can consider selling it." Wu Yong spoke with a sincere tone, but his mind was wandering elsewhere. He had been anticipating this conversation for a long time. But because of Lu Weiyin's words earlier, Wu Yong's attention was drawn away to the issue instead. Fang Yuan negotiated with Wu Yong for some time. Lu Weiyin was left unattended beside them. Fang Yuan truly needed more famous mountains now. Even though the earlier transactions were helpful, they were mostly useless mountains. But if Wu clan led the transaction, this huge deal between Fang Yuan and Southern Border's super forces could go one step further. After the discussion, Fang Yuan waved his sleeves. "All right, I'll see you both another time." Lu Weiyin stretched out his hand. "Lord Fang Yuan." Before leaving, Fang Yuan cast a cold glance at him. "I have other matters to attend to." Lu Weiyin could not speak any of the words that he had bottled up inside. The next moment, Heaven and Earth travel was activated. Fang Yuan vanished on the spot. He really had things to do. This time, he went to Rotten Mud Mountain and took the mountain. Sigh. Lu Weiyin sighed deeply to himself. Wu Yong smiled. "We have not met for some time. Why don't we Lu Weiyin waved his hand. Wu Yong, I have matters to attend to. When I am free, I will definitely visit Wuyi Mountain. Saying so, Lu Weiyin left. He did not have the mood to explain things to Wu Yong. Wu Yong also had a bunch of bottled-up questions. He felt horrible internally. He immediately turned his gaze towards the variant human goo immortals that were present. His smile did not change. He asked these people, "But what did these variant human goo immortals know?" The leader replied calmly, "Without Master's permission, how can us subordinates speak out of line? Please do not blame us, Lord Wu Yong. We need to continue moving the mountains." Wu Yong was helpless as he watched these people leave. Even though he spoke to Fang Yuan and achieved his original goal, Wu Yong could not be happy that he sensed acutely that he was starting to get left behind by Fang Yuan and others. He had no idea what was going on in Crazed Demon Cave, for example. No wonder Fang Yuan is trying to work with the major forces. Star Constellation Immortal Venerable revived? One can only imagine the pressure he is facing. Maybe I should use this to haggle for more conditions with Fang Yuan. After understanding Fang Yuan's difficulties, Wu Yong started to develop some thoughts. Wait. His eyes burst with bright light. Lu Weiyin could have transmitted those words to Fang Yuan. Why did he speak in front of me purposely? It is likely that I can gain more information by asking him. He rejected me earlier to try to raise his status and get a higher price. Wu Yong smiled bitterly internally. He knew that if he contacted Lu Weiyin now, he would be extorted by the latter, but if he did not ask for information, how could he know if there was a chance to benefit from this situation? Chapter 2154, Looting Everything. Immemorial White Heaven. Intense winds blew. Fang Yuan's hair fluttered in the wind as a result. After preparation, he activated his killer move. A rank 8 Earth Path Grotto Heaven was devoured by the sovereign immortal aperture under Fang Yuan's method. Like what he did earlier, Fang Yuan did not annex this Grotto Heaven wholly. He chose to split it into different portions and place them into the sovereign immortal aperture's various areas. Of course, because this was a Rockman Earth Path Grotto Heaven, most of it landed in the Mini 5 regions. Only a small portion ended up in the Mini 9 heavens. Inside the sovereign immortal aperture, A.S. profound light faded. A mountain range appeared in Mini Central Continent out of nowhere. It's here, our tribe's myriad ravine mountain range. Shursanbai was incredibly excited. Yes, this is our former sacred mountain, but now that it is inside the sovereign immortal aperture, it has become quite ordinary. Shurguabai had a complex expression. He felt dejected but also happy. These few Rockman Goo immortals gathered together for this moment. They were the Goo immortals of this former Grotto Heaven, but they were sent into Fang Yuan's sovereign immortal aperture in advance. During this period of time, their cultivation levels rose rapidly. They also gained many immortal Goo. They were simply on a whole new level than before. Let's go in. The Rockman Goo immortals flew into Myriad Ravine Mountain Range. Greetings to Supreme Ancestor. The ancestors have finally returned. Myriad Ravine Mountain Range still had a large number of Rockman Goo masters. After seeing the Rockman Goo immortals, they cheered loudly. Indeed, this is our new home. We have a bright future living here. After the Rockman Goo immortals gave them a speech, they started to take action. They had missions to do. This Myriad Ravine Mountain Range was a famous mountain too. It was going to be one of the cores of an Earth vein. Fang Yuan spent several hours annexing this Earth Path Grotto Heaven. During the process, certain changes developed in various places across the sovereign immortal aperture in Star Collection City. Combat Beast King held the fort as he observed the commotions in the sovereign immortal aperture along with other Goo immortals. During this period of time, Master annexed several Grotto Heavens and caused the Tao marks to rise in number. It can be expected that the various areas of the sovereign immortal aperture will have increasing commotion over time, with rising intensity. Isn't this good? The more incidents there are, the more missions we have to do. Sai, when will our tribe's Grotto Heaven be annexed by Master? The Goo immortals talked among themselves, feeling expectant towards their future prospects. Their mindsets had already changed drastically in the past. They were against Fang Yuan annexing their Grotto Heavens. But now the situation was different. They looked forward to it. It was as if they could not gain their master's acknowledgement if their Grotto Heaven had not been annexed. Many Gu immortals who had their immortal apertures annexed felt that they were a true part of the sovereign immortal aperture. They felt superior to the Gu immortals of the two heavens. Lord Fang Yuan, Lord Fang Yuan. Lu Weiyin shouted. He flew over from afar. Fang Yuan turned around and smiled. It has been tough on you. You came all the way here to immemorial white heaven. Lu Weiyin smiled bitterly. He said in an urgent tone, Lord Fang Yuan, you must know why I came here. Let's set off now. Do you know that yesterday, a rank 8 immortal Gu house flew from immemorial Black Heaven to crazed Demon Cave? Fang Yuan nodded. Many people saw that. The immortal Gu house should be the one that giant sun immortal venerable left behind. Lux suppression heavenly palace, right? Indeed. Lu Weiyin nodded continuously, staring at Fang Yuan. Right now, longevity heaven and heavenly court have moved. If we still do not start taking action, we are going to lose this prime opportunity. Fang Yuan nodded. Fine, let's go. Really? Lu Weiyin heard the answer he wanted, but he could not believe it. These last days, he had used information path methods to urge Fang Yuan to go, but he kept on refusing. Itto think that Fang Yuan was actually going to move now. Can I confirm when Lord Fang Yuan will go? Lu Weiyin was still in disbelief. Fang Yuan smiled. How about now? Lu Weiyin was overjoyed. Lord Fang Yuan is truly resolute. That is the best answer. Let's go. Let's go. The truth was, Fang Yuan had already decided to go to crazed Demon Cave now that he had already used up all of the dream realms. His attainment levels rose accordingly. Quasi-Supreme Grandmaster. Refinement Path. Time Path. Enslavement Path. Great Grandmaster. Theft Path. Transformation Path. Rule Path. Chi Path. Fire Path. Wisdom Path. Water Path. Earth Path. Poison Path. Grandmaster. Blood Path. Strength Path. Star Path. Dark Path. Formation Path. Soul Path. Sword Path. Human Path. Wood Path. Food Path. Phantom Path. Luck Path. Ice and Snow Path. Master. Dream Path. Space Path. Metal Path. Wind Path. Cloud Path. Lightning Path. Information Path. Light Path. Sound Path. As for the remaining paths like Bone Path, they were not at master level yet, but he still had some progress. Heaven Path was the same. Even though he did not reach Spectral Soul's level, Fang Yuan's attainment levels were already top rate in the current world. Be it breadth or depth, he could be considered the #1 person in the world. After all, Spectral Soul lost his attainment levels after leaving behind the Dream Realms, while Star Constellation and Giant Sun would not retain their Supreme Grandmaster attainment levels even if they revived now. Of course, he still had insufficiencies. For example, Painting Path, Weapon Path, and others. They were completely blank. These paths were just too rare. Painting Path was intentionally concealed by Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable, while Weapon Path was crudely created by Heavenly Court's Gu Immortal Che Wei recently. With the rise of attainment level, Fang Yuan could annex more grotto heavens. The sovereign immortal aperture reached its limit once again. If there was some time to digest the new gains, the sovereign immortal aperture would become more stable. But there was neither time nor opportunity. Through luck inspection, Fang Yuan found that the situation had worsened again, even though there was still leeway. It had clearly gotten quite severe. With a resolute decision, Fang Yuan immediately went to Northern Plains with Lu Weiyin. Ever since that pursuit battle over Fang Yuan ended, he had already used all his time to the limit, recuperating and raising his strength as much as he could. Now, it was time to face the Venerables head-on. Years had passed. Fang Yuan returned to crazed Demon Cave again. Initially, when he first came here, he only had rank 7 cultivation level and was restricted by an alliance agreement. Now, he looked down towards crazed Demon Cave, ready to engage in battle with Venerables. The first layer of crazed Demon Cave was a huge land of yellow soil. This was a huge cave. It was almost circular at the entrance, spanning hundreds of kilometers. It looked extremely grand. Inside the cave, there was a lush rainforest, filled with the colors yellow and green. Desolate beasts formed into groups. Vines and trees tangled together. Growling could be heard everywhere. It was a primitive sight. We will go down from there. Lu Weiyin said. No rush. Fang Yuan raised his hand. These immortal materials are useful to me. He opened his immortal aperture's entrance. many variant human goo immortals were let out. These goo immortals were talking among themselves. They went down in groups, causing chaos in the entire first layer. Quick! There is a desolate plant here. Dig it up, bring it back. Oh, there's a group of desolate beast monkeys here. Let's work together. Squeak, squeak. The monkey group cried out together. These rocks are immortal materials. Bring them back. Bring them all back. These are all contribution points. The goo immortals worked enthusiastically. They were like a group of bandits that entered a mortal village. Even though the first layer of Crazed Demon Cave had wild beasts and plants, Fang Yuan's subordinates were superior in numbers. There were also many rank 8 goo immortals among them that possessed rank 8 immortal goo and rank 8 killer moves. The first layer of Crazed Demon Cave was completely looted. Lu Weiyin watched with a dazed expression. In just this short period of time, how did Fang Yuan's subordinates become so strong? Didn't their strength rise too absurdly? I have too many people under me. Our resource expenditure is very high, especially when I made the artificial earth vein recently. This is really embarrassing. Fang Yuan smiled. Lu Weiyin quickly waved his hand. Of course not. I feel admiration towards you instead. In the current world, only Lord Fang Yuan is capable of making use of these chaotic immortal materials. Because Crazed Demon Cave had demonic sounds at set intervals, Dao marks would become chaotic and all the immortal materials would be useless. Living beings would rampage and lose their senses. Even rank 8 goo immortals became lunatics in such an environment that a while later, the first layer that was filled with vitality became a barren land. The variant human goo immortals were still not satisfied, as they brought the vast amount of resources back into the sovereign immortal aperture. Fang Yuan and Lu Weiyin went into the second layer after that. Crazed Demon Cave's second layer was an incredibly hot land of burning rocks. A large amount of rocks were piled up together, big and small. The large ones were like huge elephants. The small ones were like pebbles. These goo materials also had chaotic Dao marks, but they were mostly made of fire path and earth path Dao marks. Take them all. Fang Yuan ordered. The variant human goo immortals moved again. They swept the area like a locust swarm, emptying the entire second layer. After that, Fang Yuan and Lu Weiyin went into the third layer. The third layer was covered in dense fog. It had a vast number of fogworms and cloud bamboos. These life forms were also senseless and chaotic. They were all taken down or chopped down and collected by the variant human goo immortals. There was even a fog city here, a ghost city of dead people. The goo immortals who died in Crazed Demon Cave gathered together with vengeance and created this fog city. When Fang Yuan came here before, he avoided it as he had rank 7 cultivation level. If he entered it, he would definitely die. There was no way to escape, but it was different now. Fog City? Mine. Take it away. After looting everything in his path, Fang Yuan arrived at the 7th layer of Crazed Demon Cave. He spent much less time compared to his previous expedition. Back then, Fang Yuan was led by not immortal. They kept taking detours. The deeper they went, the more turns they had to make. Sometimes, the straight distance seemed to be short, but they had to make a long detour. With their strength back then, detours actually saved them more time than taking a straight path. But now, Fang Yuan moved unhindered, and no matter what obstacles he met along the way, he placed them all into the sovereign immortal aperture. The 7th layer of Crazed Demon Cave was filled with bright colors. The rocks, grass, soil, and trees were all shining in bright lights. Every piece of soil or rock here was a quasi-rank 9 immortal material. But the Dao marks were chaotic. They could not be used at all. Of course, that was the case for most goo immortals in the world. Chapter 2155, Paradise Earth's Sacred Tomb. Chapter 2155, Paradise Earth's Sacred Tomb. Fang Yuan was the exception. Of course, AS demonic sounds rang. Fang Yuan had already prepared himself. Back then, he was able to deal with the demonic sounds. Now, it was simply too easy. Under the demonic sound's influence, Dao marks of the same path in the 7th layer gathered together and formed large areas of beautiful rainbow lights. They were no longer as scattered and random as before. Such an incredible sight. Lu Weiyin sighed in amazement. At the next moment, he saw Fang Yuan taking out immortal goo house thieves' den steel Dao killer move activated. large numbers of Tao marks were stolen, forming into corresponding rank 9 immortal materials within Thieves' Den. These rank 9 immortal materials were very pure. They only had one path's Tao marks. They had immense value to Liu Weiyin watched. He became tongue-tied that he estimated that in just over 10 breaths of time, Fang Yuan obtained at least 3 rank 9 immortal materials. Rank 9 immortal materials. Wasn't he obtaining them simply too easily? Fang Yuan and Liu Weiyin moved together. Everywhere they went, large areas of Tao marks vanished. The beautiful sight turned into something that resembled cheese gnawed by rats. Everywhere Fang Yuan went, there were large pieces of black and white spots. Liu Weiyin watched, his eyes turned slightly red. Fang Yuan's gains were too huge. The benefits were large enough for him to feel envy internally. Such wealth, he's earned a fortune. This is the first time I've seen anyone gain a vast number of rank 9 immortal materials so easily. Liu Weiyin shouted internally to himself that he could no longer guess how many rank 9 immortal materials Fang Yuan had obtained. The only thing he was knew, his gains were huge, enormous, unthinkable. Continuing to move forward, they finally arrived at the entrance of the 8th layer. Fang Yuan's expression was slightly pale. The burden of using Thieves' Den and the killer move Steel Dao along the way was not small, especially in terms of immortal essence expenditure. That Liu Weiyin became slightly worried. Lord Fang Yuan, do pay attention to your immortal essence storage. No need to worry. Fang Yuan smiled mildly. I have rank 8 heavenly essence treasure Imperial Lotus. Liu Weiyin heard this and his expression froze before replying. Impressive, impressive, as befitting of Lord Fang Yuan. At the entrance, Fang Yuan saw 3 paths ahead again. Point 1 path was filled with golden light. Lux surged around it. It was the luck path left behind by Giant Sun. Immortal Venerable. Point 1 path was dark and horrifying. Killing intent filled it. It was the soul path left behind by Spectral Soul. When he entered the 8th layer, Point 1 path was humble and plain, giving a virtuous aura. It was Paradise Earth. Immortal Venerable's path. Because Liu Weiyin had methods prepared beforehand, he could enter Paradise Earth's path. But Fang Yuan waved his hand. Thieves' Den activated. The 3 paths were completely devoured. They disappeared. That a large number of rank 9 immortal materials were produced as a result. Liu Weiyin moved his lips, but he did not manage to say anything. He followed Fang Yuan into the 8th layer wordlessly. Nothingness. This was a boundless void that resembled a huge ocean with no shore in sight. Fang Yuan and Liu Weiyin who entered were like 2 bugs in the ocean, extremely minuscule and insignificant. Fang Yuan had once come here. He had a deep impression of the place in this boundless void. Countless worlds were created and destroyed, deriving brand new heaven path down marks that he had once tried to enter the 9th layer, but he did not succeed. This void was evidently the profundity of Phantom Path, but Fang Yuan did not have Phantom Path attainment back then. He could not deduce the location of the 9th layer's entrance. This time, he came prepared. His Phantom Path attainment level had reached Grandmaster. Immediately, Fang Yuan used his Phantom Path method. At the next moment, Fang Yuan raised his brows. The void here is different from the one I experienced last time. But Fang Yuan could not point out the exact difference. Even though he made huge progress in Phantom Path, he was still very far from understanding or breaking Limitless Demon Venerable's 8th layer arrangements. Please follow me. Liu Weiyin activated a certain killer move and found his direction, leading the way. Fang Yuan followed after Liu Weiyin. Along the way, he saw worlds created and destroyed. It was truly an extraordinary sight, but different from before. These worlds were moving along the void. No matter which world it was, they went in the same direction. Fang Yuan's deductions finally had some results. He was evidently moved. I understand now. This void is contracting. At the final moment, all of the worlds and heaven path Tao marks will be squeezed together. They will be completely fused into one. Is this Limitless Demon Venerable's plan? Liu Weiyin shook his head. I only know the location of Yellow Earth Great World. We need to hurry and head there. The 2 immortals flew for a few more hours before finally seeing their destination. This is... Liu Weiyin expressed shock on his face, because he did not just see Yellow Earth Great World. He also saw the worlds that reckless savage and Genesis Lotus left behind. Fang Yuan squinted. The three great worlds are fusing into one. Not just that, there are also many small worlds following beside them. These worlds were motionless within the void. Each world was like a bubble. The three great worlds were the largest bubbles, being green, yellow, and red respectively. The three worlds were joined together at the center. The periphery was filled with smaller bubbles that were linked to the surface of the three great world bubbles. Oh no, Lord, please look. Lu Weiyin pointed at the yellow bubble and said anxiously. Fang Yuan turned his gaze and saw that Yellow Earth Great World was currently attacked by the joint efforts of the other two great worlds. Even though the view outside the bubble was quite vague, Fang Yuan and Lu Weiyin could still sense the intensity of the battle inside. Especially when the connecting area of the three worlds was filled with corpses, it was the most intense area of the battle. Lord, with my method, Yellow Earth Great World will not resist us. Let's go and reinforce them. Lu Weiyin charged in like a falling meteor. Fang Yuan followed after him. His body was also shrouded in a yellow light. It was this yellow light that allowed them to easily pass through the bubble and enter Yellow Earth Great World. Looking at the Great World, the thing that attracted Fang Yuan's gaze the most was that huge mound at the center. This mound resembled a mountain. The mountain itself was quite flat. It looked man-made. But Fang Yuan could see the true essence of the mountain at first glance. This is Tomb Earth of the 10 Earths? This is such a huge tomb. This unprecedented tomb had a tombstone on it. The tombstone had 6 words written on it. Tomb of Paradise Earth Immortal Venerable. Seemingly sensing Lu Weiyin and Fang Yuan, the tomb suddenly emitted a grand pillar of light. It rose up into the skies, resembling a pillar that held up heaven itself. The entire battlefield froze. Everyone's eyes were attracted to it. The sacred tomb is shining. Heaven and earth can bear testament to it. Our sage has arrived. After a few breaths of time, a huge roar erupted in Yellow Earth Great World. It was like a huge tsunami. The people of Yellow Earth Great World became energized and surged with morale. They started to counterattack. Green Lotus Great World. This was the Tao field of Genesis Lotus Immortal Venerable. Look at it. Forests and vegetation were abundant. It was filled with greenery and vitality, giving off an unfathomable aura. In this densely green world, there was a black and white mountain. At the peak of the mountain, there were rows of chairs that extended downwards. The top 2 chairs were unoccupied, while Qin Dingling sat at the 4th seat. Fang Yuan and Lu Weiyin arrived after all. After receiving the information, Qin Dingling snorted coldly. During the pursuit battle against Fang Yuan, Lu Weiyin took the initiative to help Fang Yuan. Not only did he help to kill Spectral Soul, he even helped Fang Yuan escape. Lu Weiyin was Southern Border's Paradise Earth inheritor. After that, Paradise Earth's intention to cooperate with Fang Yuan became obvious. The Paradise Earth sacred tomb at the center of Yellow Earth Great World was also openly seen to everyone. The Gu Immortals of the 3 worlds knew of it. Thus, there was nothing strange about Lu Weiyin and Fang Yuan showing up here. Qin Dingling gritted her teeth as she said, "Currently, we need to split up into 2 groups. One group will advance and attack Yellow Earth Great World. The other will aid Demon Judgment Board in suppressing and resisting Savage Wilderness Great World, as well as restraining Longevity Heaven. As for the other Gu Immortals, you can go conquer the small worlds in groups." Originally, our side was cooperating with Longevity Heaven to devour Yellow Earth Great World. But now that Fang Yuan and Lu Weiyin showed up, Yellow Earth Great World is no longer meat on the chopping block. We can suffer losses if we are careless. Saying so, Qin Dingling stood up and bowed to the Gu Immortal on the 3rd seat. "Lady Minghao, please allow this subordinate to use Divine Emperor City and personally lead the group invading Yellow Earth Great World to resist Fang Yuan." Qin Dingling was originally the leader of Heavenly Court, but here, she was only 4th place. She had to obey the 3 fairies at the top. Currently, the 1st and 2nd fairies were not around. Only the 3rd fairy Minghao was here to control the situation. This fairy Minghao had the appearance of a 3 to 4-year-old girl. She was cute and delicate. Her large eyes shined with sparkling starlight specks. She blinked her large and shiny eyes. She pondered before replying with a childish, Voice, I've heard of Fang Yuan, but do you need to deal with him personally? Let them go instead. Saying so, her tiny arm waved as a goo worm flew out. This information path goo worm flew to the middle of the mountain and landed in front of two goo immortals. These were neither human nor variant human goo immortals. Point one was an old tree with a thin and dry trunk. It had countless branches of different length, but had no leaves on them. It had thin and long roots that numbered to 100. The tree's name was Mu Cha Lang. The other was a long bamboo that was green like jade. Its name was Qing Hao Zi. Qing Hao Zi floated in the air, casually and peacefully sleeping. Mu Cha Lang was lying on the mountain rock that seemed like a chair, its branches wrapped around a small rock like a person resting his legs on a stool. It was very relaxed. After seeing the information path goo worm, Mu Cha Lang stood up immediately. It extended its branches to nudge Qing Hao Zi. Stop sleeping. Stop sleeping. The sage has sent an order. Qing Hao Zi waved back and forth because of the nudge, but it did not land on the ground. After getting awakened, it straightened its body and remained in the air. To think that we are going to move out so quickly. Next, the two immortals left the mountain, leading their troops to the front lines.